is time for another episode of The Cultural Hall. It is an Articles of News episode, and I am joined by the world's traveler since the last time we chatted, the news wizard, Berlin Youd. How are you, sir?
I am doing well traveled, happy to be home.
You were in Mexico in the time where, at least for one of those days, maybe just prior to you going, I was like, he probably doesn't want to go to Mexico, what with everything with the cartels, etc. But everything was fine, beautiful, warm, delicious.
Everything was fantastic. I was far away from any cartels. Those were all on the west coast of Mexico. We were on the far east coast, just south of Cancun. And it was actually great because lots of people canceled their trip. So the resort that we stayed at had a 20% cancellation rate.
Jeez.
Meaning we had virtually the pools and resort to ourselves. And our whole plan was not to do a lot of excursions. I went to town once or twice, but that was about it.
You mentioned not near cartels. Incorrect. Just not near cartels you didn't know about. That's
exactly. Yes.
Plenty
cartels
of
that
cartels
were behaving well and probably benefiting us because things were safer based on their influence.
You went down there just and plopped your butt on at a all-inclusive, you and the lady, hey, the house, we moved in, our marriage is still somewhat together, this is what we're celebrating, here's to the next 50 years. Is that what it was?
Well, it was very close to that. In fact, it was the same day that we had our very last recorded episode. Susan and I were sitting there. Actually, it was 3 days later because I had the flu for 3 solid days, and it was terrible. And I was finally starting to feel better. She was feeling completely worn out by unpacking, and we said, let's find a place to go and get some sun and sand and what else that starts with S. Sun, sand, and sanity.
Not anything
maybe.
I'm going to say, Verlin. Not anything I'm going to say. And Susan.
Water and beverages and snacks. That's what I was going to say. Snacks. So it was a great week away in Mexico. I think we did overlap with Corey K. Ward because I was watching his travelogue and looked like he enjoyed himself. I love doing excursions, but this time it was all about reading novels, which I averaged 1 a day.
Good for you.
And just sat by the pool or on the beach and drank Diet Cokes and club soda and limes and had snacks and enjoyed myself.
I'll tell you, novels are a tricky thing with me because, most of the books that I read are nonfiction, like self-help or like biography or, something in that sort of vein. And novels are like drugs a little bit, and I don't have time for drugs. I mean,
well, my view is I get a lot of great ideas from novels. They increase my personal creativity.
Sure.
So concepts and things I would have never thought about, including historical fiction or science fiction or even detective and spy novels, they generate tons of ideas that I end up using in my personal life in some way or shape or form.
Well, that sounds ominous.
Could sound ominous, but yeah, that's what I did. I read a wide range of nonfiction.
Yeah, but so my problem is, I don't have time for that. So a vacation of reading is great, but this will surprise not many, I think. Like if I click into something, it's like I've got to read this now.
Yeah, so if you started the Vince Flynn series, you'd be forced to read all 16 or 17.
Yeah. At the detriment of I should probably be getting ready for work or, eating dinner or things like that.
Yeah.
When I have really locked in on a fiction novel or, whatever, anything like that is pretty much just for entertainment purposes, it's not good. It's so great, but it's not good.
Yeah, I understand. It's I guess it could be considered a little like locking into a TV series, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I do that
Not
too.
that we'll talk about any of those today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So she decided to stay with you, huh?
She did. Okay. So far, so good.
Yeah. And are you
all
unpacked?
I can still say she's my first and only wife.
There it is. Don't rub it in. No one likes a gloater. You guys, are you at the point of unpacking where you have listed, we've got a lot of cardboard boxes if anyone needs them on social media or anything like that?
I've just been, as we've been unpacking, I've been taking them to the recycling place.
Okay.
So they've been recycled as we've gone. The top floor of the house now is very presentable. In fact, we had the missionaries over for dinner last night. There were 5 of them. And that was great. Susan had a book club meeting here the week before we left on vacation. So yeah, it's great. The bottom floor, she's working her way through, and I'm working my way through projects to continue to decorate and build shelves and those kind of things.
Yeah. 5 missionaries makes me think a 2-pack and a 3-pack, or did one
That's
companion
right.
just not want to come over?
Yeah.
One of the
2-pack and a
companions.
3-pack, and we actually have 2 more in the ward, so we've
Okay.
got a total of 7. The other 2 were at a YSA activity last night.
Doing a little, now that it's all right to date on your mission kind of thing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're doing some scoping.
I'm done in 6 months. You're nice.
Yeah.
You'll help me connect to where I serve my mission.
Well, they got that new unseal your heart, instruction.
Yeah, unlock your heart. Be respectful. Not in the early part of your mission.
Well, when are you going to learn to date?
Yeah, right? Not before
Yes,
your mission.
we're being funny. We're
Yep.
being funny.
Not when you get home. Not when you get home and are expected to be married. No, you do it in the latter part of your mission. That was the instruction that we misinterpretedly received.
That's right. And I've been actually seeing some articles on Gen Z and their dating challenges. So I'm going to have to go do some reading. But the headline was that they spend too much time analyzing dating rather than doing it.
Yes, because here's the thing. You can pretend that you know what it would be like to go out with someone. Let's go both sides of the spectrum. So great that you're like, oh my gosh, this is the person I've been waiting for my entire life. You can imagine what that'd be like, but you'll never get it. And then there's something too that until you go out with that person, that from the second that you picked them up at their door, you knew that it was a disaster. There is something to that you have to, at least on some level, experience to be able to then look across from the person and go, I am so grateful for who you are as a person.
Absolutely.
For what you value and what you stand for. Thank you so much, because I don't think about her often, but I think about, Chantry or whatever her name would be.
I think there's huge learning in those experiences, and people are underserving themselves by not allowing themselves to have those kind of. I'm going to call both a success. It's a success to find out who you don't like and can't spend time with, and it's a success to find out who you can.
Yeah, I've said this multiple times. People think that I'm joking, but I actually did give this advice a couple of times when I worked at BYU. I had these young students that we worked.
They trusted you with interns?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
I know. Listen. And
Talk about a poor interview process. Oh gosh.
From beginning to end. But there were these they're like 20. Maybe 21.
Yeah.
And in one case I think maybe 19. And they were so like distraught that they had not found their person yet. Really. And like, it's fun and we look at it.
Oh, I laugh. I know it's true. I know it's true.
Yeah,
but-
in that experience, in that environment especially, you made it through your first year and you wanted to, but also a lot of your friends got married, and so there's all this. And I didn't want it to ring in my ears as like silly. I didn't want them to be like, you're being ridiculous, even though they were being
Take it
ridiculous.
serious, although it sounds ridiculous at times. Yeah.
But I meant this advice for some, not really. You'll get it when I say what it is. But I almost did mean it for one or two of the people that I spoke to. I said, listen, if someone will marry you, just marry them. It doesn't matter if you love them or if you don't love them or any of those kind of things. So long as like they're a safe person, you're not putting yourself in like an abusive way or something like
now
that.
I know why they fired you.
Yeah, no, they fired me. They did not fire me, and they had many reasonable ways and reasons to fire me.
I'm just kidding.
No, but I said just marry them, and obviously that's like a way over the top kind of thing. But there were so many people that the conversations we had where they were like, well, how am I going to know? And what do you do to make sure that this doesn't happen? And how do you know what you can live with and what you can't live with? And to me, I was just like, you just have to try it. Because you won't know, and you don't know. And, I woke up today, and I looked at my wife, and I said, I sure love you, and we went to therapy, and we talked about some things, and I think we're still both in. But tomorrow, I could wake up, and she could go, it was sure fun, thanks for the memories, and be out. You don't know but so much of that seemed to be so in their head that I just was like, it may take this over the top, this thing that you would never actually do, to be done in order for them to ever do it. Otherwise, they'll always constantly be in their own way.
Yeah, I mean, the best advice I ever received was from a young man's advisor who was my scoutmaster, actually. We're still very good friends and still connect regularly. But he gave me fantastic advice. I think I was 15 years old. And of course, I was, thinking about dating and fixated on it and, worrying about all the things. And he said, Verlin, how many flavors do you have to try at Baskin Robbins to figure out which one is your favorite? All of them.
Oh, geez.
So go out and try a bunch of flavors.
That is not where I thought that was going. That took me by surprise for a minute. It's 31 flavors.
So,
I don't know that I'm saying you have to try 31.
Yeah, if you're gonna live with one flavor the rest of your life, you better have tried all of them so you know which one you're going to be most happy with. Go out and try, and some of them are going to suck.
Yeah, real
and
bad.
some of them are going to be fine, and some of them, they're okay for a while. I think it's a great analogy.
Yeah. 31 though, geez, 31.
That's pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm pretty close to. I'm betting 30 plus. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Between high school and then post mission. Yeah.
Like dates, or are we talking like, hey, we
different
went out more
women
than
dated.
Yeah. Okay.
Different young
like
ladies.
more than
yeah.
once?
Not always.
Okay.
Some of them
Geez,
you
here I'm
learn right
thinking-
away. There is no more than once unless you want to die of torture.
Yes. So bad.
Yeah. Some people have a hard time speaking. I learned.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel bad for that.
One got
aspect
upset
of
when
that.
I asked her if I could kiss her too.
Oh, really?
That was the end of that.
Well,
yeah.
because you're supposed to be romantic, you're just supposed to do it, or she just didn't want to kiss
I
him?
guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. She felt like asking was,
Yeah.
not the thing.
Yeah. Well, Hollywood doesn't say to ask.
That's okay. It taught me something. I never asked again. I just went for it.
Yeah.
So.
Jeez. There, lesson learned. So I have to tell you about this. This was super cool. I had the opportunity last week, and it still feels like it was yesterday based on the amount of exhaustion that I'm experiencing presently, to go to Florida, Orlando. And
You were the life of the party in Florida, right?
Yep. Well, I was the chief energy officer for this conference. Super cool. Lots of fun. It was outdoor lighting. So if you owned an outdoor lighting, there was lots of people actually from North Carolina that were there. Christmas lights and outdoor landscape lighting.
And I'm thinking about that stuff right now. I should have come.
Yeah. Well, so it's not for people like you.
It's for contractors.
It's for contractors to find out how to, better
so
do
they
their
can
sales
overcharge
process.
me for the outdoor lighting that I want to buy.
Exactly. They would say super serve the needs that you didn't
Of
know you
course,
had, but it's the same thing. Some amazing speakers, but then in between each one, it's like, yeah, let's give it up. And the guy, Ryan, is the guy that's in charge of the whole conference. He was like, listen, even at 8 a.m, we need to go 175%. And I was like, listen, you are paying. I will do it. So the end of the first day, which was just sort of a soft launch, I'm in the elevator going up to my room, exhausted, because you're carrying the energy for all of these people. And this woman looks at me and she goes, you're very animated. Always. And I just was like, yeah.
So success.
Yeah.
Evidently,
yes.
you were animated always, which is exactly what you were asked to be.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Cool. The only thing that I guess that this applies in a bigger picture is like going to these things. And this is where I almost feel like General Conference hits the niche, but like maybe we could tweak this a little bit, or maybe there
Like
could be
DJ sets between talks.
No,
Is that
no,
what
no. Let me get where I'm going. Like there was a lot of this that was like your sales-based approach should be this way, and talk about that, right? But then there was also a lot of like you're in space A, and you know that your best life would be space C. So what do you have to do to get from A to B and then B to C? And so it was sort of inspirational and sort of motivational, and like what are the things that are getting in your way? And I think that General Conference of the church is great for that spiritually thinking.
Yeah.
But I almost wonder what it would be like, or would the experience be that much more enhanced, or would we be able to kind of come together and grow or maybe this isn't the resource for it at all. Like if there was part of that was like upping your spiritual game, which is what General Conference is presently, but it's also like, Verlin, this talk is going to be about retiring with dignity, you guys.
Yeah.
And we are going to...
Wait, you're saying retiring with me?
Yeah, no. No. No, I've seen your house. It'll be a long time before you get something like that, where it's like this general principle thing of like,
yeah,
you're in your own way this, or, we could drill down on the fact that, that Jesus doesn't want you to drink coffee, but let's take a bigger picture and like,
let's look at your health.
Let's look at your health. How do you feel? When you wake up in the morning, do you feel crummy? That's probably an indication that some health things are out of whack. And, how does that health aspect affect your spirituality and your family and the bigger, broader principles? I don't know. Maybe I want something.
I think that's a fantastic idea. We have these self-reliance workshops, right, that are held at the stake level. The church has access to all kinds of resources. We have all the technology you would ever need.
Yes.
Why don't we do kind of an off-cycle general conference instead of April and October? Let's do, whatever it is, July and November, and let's have, Improve Your Life conference.
Yes.
Right? And you could have different tracks. You could have tracks for the rising generation, let me get the name right, the rising generation, young single adults, mid singles, married folks, old folks, people that are old but refusing to admit they are old folks. Sure. You could have all those groups.
Yes.
Yeah. I think and what resources, man, it would be fantastic.
And we'd call it specific conference.
That's
so every 6 months you have general conference, and then
it.
every 6 months you have specific conference.
Specific conference.
And in January, because that would be the first one, it is like New Year goals, measurable, all of the things that we've been told, and being able to incorporate that.
Yeah.
And then the one that's in what does that make the other one? Halfway through, it's how are we doing? Let's regroup. Do we need to refresh, restart? Gospel principles all along the way.
Yeah.
Specific conference and general conference.
Yeah, and you could reinforce gospel principles because all things are spiritual unto the Lord according to the Doctrine and Covenants.
Yes.
And so this is a way to reinforce those in everyday living.
Yes.
What a great idea. Maybe you should patent that. Trademark it.
And because can I worry about my salvation, my neighbors, my ministering families, all of those things? Can I really be worrying about them if I'm like, holy balls, I got to have enough money to have food for dinner tonight? No, you can't. You cannot do that.
Or your health is failing, so you can't minister to those around you, right?
Yes.
Yep. Or you're racked by guilt and overwhelmed by, how to put together food storage.
Yeah.
So you don't start, right?
Yes. The other thing I'll say is I posted on social media, so if you follow me, at Richie T. Stedman, I posted a joke that a lot of people took pretty seriously. My family was in Disneyland, and I was nearby Disneyworld.
Yeah.
And I just was making a joke because they were in
great.
Disneyland, and I said, oh, no, shoot, I went to the wrong Disney. So many people reached out and said, why would you not ask them? Why wouldn't you find out which Disney they were in? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, oh, no, it was never mind. Good.
I thought my response was dumb. But okay.
No, it was great. It was great. It was great.
I just said you got the better version.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, there's something magical about California compared to Florida as far as the Disney stuff goes.
And I've been to the one in Florida, I guess the same number of times that I've been to the one in California.
Yeah. This may get us in big trouble. People will never send us emails, contact@theculturalhall.com, about like things that we ask them to, but they will respond to things like coming at Disney. There is a magic about Disneyland in its confinement, in its originalness, in its magicality, that it can't be so specific with the different parks like what Florida did. There is something about that original that does not exist in Florida. And most of the ways in Florida you go, great, I don't want to deal with A, B, and C. I want specifically D, and that's great. Thank you, Disney World, for just providing me that thing. But there is something about like a dream, a wish, this whole thing that went into Disneyland where you go, okay, yeah.
I think Disneyland is wonderful. I really do. But I also love Disney World. I personally love Epcot Center.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things. I could go to Epcot Center every single year.
Yes, and you know why?
I don't.
Geared
but I
toward
love
adults.
going there.
Geared toward adults, and it's just for a specific kind of person, and that's what's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the Magic Kingdom, and I've never gone to the water park.
You should.
And the amusement park side, I don't know. I've gone to lots of other amusement parks, but yeah.
Yeah, but you got that new body of yours. Let's get a little a little sun on that skin and get you at the water park. We'll go together, you and I.
Exactly.
Should we take a break? When we come back, we will do actual articles of news.
Sounds great.
You know, the turning of another year makes me start to think about how I have not done one of these ads for Best DJ in Utah in over a year. I'm sorry, everyone, but it means business is good. It means you should hire Best DJ in Utah. Why, that's me, and I even have people that work for me, trained by me, affordable, and travel all over. Literally all over. Going to Florida this year, for instance. And this year means 2026, not this year, which could have been several years in the past, like we've been doing. You can go to bestdjinutah.com, or you can go and find us on our Google business page. It's Best DJ in Utah. You will see that as of the recording of this, almost 700 5-star reviews. Find out what so many listeners of the Cultural Hall have already found out. I'm great at parties. I'm great in your ear holes, but I'm also great at parties. So find out if I'm available for your date. We can help you out. Weddings, baptisms, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, funerals. I'll do a funeral. BestDJinUtah.com. Here in the second half of Articles of News, this is when we do actual articles of news. While we wait for Peter Breinholt to hit it, I would tell you, please think about becoming a Patreon saint of the Cultural Hall by going to patreon.com/The Cultural Hall. Put your money where your ears are. And if you've been listening for a while and you've not yet left a review, wherever you are getting this episode of the Cultural Hall, take a second and say, hey, this is great. Or, nah, it could be better. Actually, keep that to yourself. Positive stuff only. You could do that on Spotify and Apple mostly, but there are some other applications that allow you to do it. Hit it, Peter.
You can't lose articles of news.
And here we go. So you AI'd this, but AI and you were having a fight. You guys...
I have decided I'm firing ChatGPT.
Oh, geez.
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm done.
Geez. All right.
Yep.
All right.
It's over. It's over. I have wasted so much time, not just today, on things that it has done successfully in the past and could not deliver on today, but I've been working with it, try to design the paint scheme for my truck.
Okay.
And the work that I'm doing on that. And it's come up with some brilliant ideas, but it fails at all of the image generation. And it keeps promising that it can do it, and then it keeps failing.
Nope.
So,
I'll tell you what,
else.
just kind of as a quick aside, we're going to be doing some xeriscaping in my yard. And I took a picture of the place that's going to xeriscape, and I said, tell me what this will look like and tell me how many of which plant I need to buy. And I live here in this zone and this thing, and it boomed it out. I'm not ready for it yet, but I'm going to take that list to the
nursery.
To the nursery,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to buy it and it's done. It's the greatest thing
Fantastic.
ever.
Yep. No, I've been working with it on everything in my life, and it does some really great work. But every time I try to get it to come up with an image or do something that's time sensitive, like today, it fails, and I end up having to do it by hand or not doing it at all.
So let's get into the news.
Let's jump.
I'll take the odd ones, which means I go first.
Okay.
There is a new photo of the Quorum of the 12 and the First Presidency, and then just the Quorum of the 12. This, of course, because Elder Clark Gilbert has been added to the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. I have to wonder, and this is two wonders that I have as I look at this picture. By the way, links to all these stories in the show notes. I have to wonder where there was such close proximity between when Elder Cossé was called and they all got together for a picture, and then Elder Clark Gilbert. Like, I have to wonder, and with the technology and in the day and age we live, can't they just be like, let's take the picture like this, and let's take individual pictures, and then they don't have to get together each time to do the photo? Because that's got to be cumbersome.
I would think so. And it would also give you the opportunity to start a new game. If they did it right, they could put different heads on different people's bodies and
Yes.
create a sacrament meeting game for the youngsters.
And then the other part of it is, or two other parts of it, I guess, is like, are they going back to the basics? And I haven't looked at the pictures as far as this goes, but is it like, I wore red in the last Quorum of the 12 pictures? I should probably wear blue. Are they wearing the same ties? Do they have this is my official photo tie or suit? Oh, I went gray last time. I'm going to go blue this time. Do they do any of that kind of stuff? Or, if you're the 15th, you have to wear purple, and then it's like karate, then it's a yellow belt, and then it's an orange. And then I would love if there was something fun like that to it that we don't know about that exists in the photos.
Man, that's a great question. In fact, I just pulled up the photo now, and they did a nice job of different colors of blues and greens and
Sure.
purples and stripes and solids and patterns. Wow. It's almost like they coordinated a little bit.
Of course, there is, and they never would talk about this because this is a thing that makes all of us general church membership go, I don't know how I feel about that. There is 100% a stylist for, if not each one of the brethren, for the brethren as a whole.
Elder Razband, you're a little bit of a rebel, my friend.
Yeah? See,
Other than that, yeah, he's got some pattern going on, maybe some paisley in his yellow and blue tie.
yeah. But there is 100% that's going on. And then the last thing that I wonder about, and when I posted this on social, I thought the same thing. If there is not like a back row of the picture versus front row of the picture, back and forth, like, oh, Dieter's on the front row. Like if there's not a...
Like the old school high councils when they used to sit in seniority
Yes.
status around
Yes.
the room and like, ooh, you're now in the first seat. Ooh, you made the turn on the
Gonna be
table.
you. Like if there's not some gentle, fun heckling about that,
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, if the youngsters aren't mocking the ones in the front row and saying, "Oh, you all have to sit down because you're too old to stand up."
Sure.
You know,
Or
all
that's
that
a front
stuff.
row problem.
That's right.
that's a front row problem.
Us here in the back row, we won't worry about that.
We'll clean up the mess. That's a back row problem. This now is a front row problem.
We have the back row of the cultural hall. We have the back row of the Quorum of the 12.
And we got no front row of the cultural hall, that's for sure. So that's my first news story.
Love it. Okay. Well, the second news story is really a news story we've talked about already, which is Elder Gilbert is now in the beginning of a new apostolic chapter. And he's starting to make the rounds and make comments. And I've actually been pretty impressed at how much time he's spending in interviews and things like that.
Being actually open to the media?
Yeah, open to the media and talking to the media. Now, I'm sure he's hand choosing who he talks to.
Of course.
Right. But it seems like others have kind of, once they were called, they kind of stay away from publicity for a while and then kind of dip their toes in. In his case, he was right away being interviewed and answering questions, and some of them answering a little more directly and some a little less directly.
Well, I mean, I welcome it. I would hope that we would always, and I know personalities are different, but like the media and or public forward Gordon B. Hinckley is the way that I feel like leadership should be, even if it's not their general, like they're drawn that way or whatever. I like that, and I don't know if you noticed this, and this was not in the show notes. There was a video with Dallin H. Oaks, and it's like they included a little blooper before his video. Have you seen this?
I have not.
It's he's like, oh, tell me when you're ready, or something like that. And they're talking about his face, and he says something to the effect of, yeah, my wife tells me I've got judge face, and I need to work on my judge face, or something like that. And it is. It's 100% how he is. And I love that we did that. And if that's what we need to do with the people that aren't more likely to do that, like we would never embarrass, we would never have him saying something like, oh, take the stupid camera down, or, that's not what I'm asking for. But like those moments where the ones that it doesn't come as easy can have something be shared that way, I welcome that every single day.
I love spontaneity, but I also think that everyone has their own personality, and I want them to be completely authentic to their personality. If they're averse to kind of press and interviews, then don't go be interviewed.
Right.
Find your strength and do something else, right?
Okay.
I don't want them all to be professionally trained and smooth interviewers and all that stuff. If that's what you're great at, go do that. If you're better at ministering one-on-one, if you're better at, talking at events, let's leverage what they do well.
But I feel like we have to get at least something from them. So, like, if you are a tendency to not be any of that, like, you can't just be like, I'm not any of that. That
Yeah, I don't
doesn't
think you'll be
sound
called if you're not any of that.
right. Well, but, I mean, there are some that I don't feel like I know anything about. It is very much
That's
calling forward, this is who I am. This is what I do. And
there's
you're
some
just
of that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the authenticity. I like seeing how different they are from one another. And it's a little bit, when we were live tweeting General Conference, you probably noticed that I always made comments on their ties because that's something unique and different and a personal choice. And and there's sometimes very little of that that's shown even in talks.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
This is classic for two gentlemen like ourselves to be talking about, but the Relief Society, they have their annual yearly devotional of devotionalness, wherein one of the Quorum of the 12 speaks, and then also the presidency speak as well. I haven't had the opportunity to watch it, but there were a couple things within this that I was like, I'm actually pretty interested and will probably take the time to do it. Starting with Elder Cook's message, he talked about the impact, value, and influence of women in the church, especially in turbulent times and loud spiritual opposition. He urged sisters to deepen their conversion, focus on Christ-like principles, and remain humble. But I love that, and I think it resonates that for any man who's ever had their wife who can actually speak to them in the way that can calm them down, can affect. I think that women can do that in a greater senses too. Men should be able to do that. Men shouldn't be getting riled up the way that it is, etc. But like the value and impact that women can have in that space, I think is significant.
Well, and I think it's worth, I'm going to go listen to Elder Cook's talk as well, or watch it, because I thought the 4 things they called out, specifically asking, are we each sufficiently humble?
Right.
Are we each stripped of pride? Are we stripped of envy? Do we mock or persecute any other brothers or sisters? Those are tough questions we need to be asking ourselves. Everyone needs to be asking themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. President Johnson, kind of a theme of do hard with Jesus Christ, and that Christ can turn things that are hard into holy. And I love that. Again, what we're doing is summarizing a 15-minute talk into here's a line from this talk. So there's much more than all that. Sister Dennis emphasized God's unchanging love, comparing it to the sun. It's there even on cloudy days. She shared that Relief Society sisters can help part the clouds for one another. And I think that for anyone who's had that person, Verlin, very vulnerably, you've been that person for me before, when I've been like, man, does this even matter at all? And it's not like you've ever come in heavy-handed and been like, you matter. But the conversations and the messages or the conversations here that we've had, it's mattered in a way that it's like, yeah, okay, it matters. It's separate.
That's what friends do for each other. Yeah. Absolutely.
Are you claiming friend with me? That's a
No
lot of
doubt.
responsibility. That's a lot of responsibility. I burn those things down in a quick heartbeat, unfortunately.
Not a chance.
And then Sister Yi talked about the peace that comes from trusting our burdens to the Savior. So
I thought there was something interesting in the themes across all 3 of these. They all were talking about dealing with life's challenges and trials and tribulations. There wasn't to talk about, here's how we minister to each other better, or here's how we go do this better, or here's how we go do that better. And you're not reading your scriptures enough. You're not praying enough. You're not going to the temple enough. You're not wearing your garments enough.
Sure.
It was, here's how to deal with life's trials and tribulations. And I think that's cool recognition that lots of people are struggling right now with lots of different things, and giving some clarity to how we can all live through those struggles.
Yeah. A quick aside, it's also not in news, but my stake is having a stake conference with another stake. And I'll tell you what.
Ooh, a dual stake conference.
There is nothing more
sounds very BYU-ish.
Gossipy for the church in Utah than when 2 stakes are having a combined thing. My projection, so we've already got a Taylorsville temple, so it's not here's someone to announce a temple. And there's not a place for it in the valley that it would be another Taylorsville temple, so I'm not thinking anything like that. But our boundaries, and I talked about this when we changed our ward boundaries like 2 years ago, our boundaries are like a small child took crayons and was like, and a little of this, and over here, and
Let's
also
grab
this
little
one.
piece there, this little piece there.
And that's how our ward is. I, without question, feel like it's going to be, this is ridiculous. Taylorsville, you're now one stake.
Let's get a
The
ruler
city of
out and
Taylorsville,
let's draw some straight lines.
And we're going to make some things, and because the people across the street from me, not my ward, and that happens a lot in Utah, right? But they're not.
Yeah.
And then as I'm walking to church, I walk through 2 other wards, and then I get to the church. And then there's another one that, like, my grandparents who lived in this house paid and built that church, and that's closer, but we don't go to that building at all.
That's right.
Like, they will come in, people will be heartbroken. People will be so sad. There will be dissolving of wards, and hallelujah, it will finally be like, this neighborhood is a ward. This neighborhood is a ward. This neighborhood is a ward, as opposed to grab.
Yeah, believe it or not, there's some rumors where we are that they're going to do some readjusting of stake boundaries as well as ward boundaries. In the last several years, they've done some ward trading from stake to stake.
Okay.
And it's created some real heartache. And in other cases, you look at the map and it just makes no sense as well.
Yep.
And so it's kind of like, let's straighten this up.
Yep.
Let's make this easy for everyone to understand. I always think it's hilarious where someone goes to high school, and in Utah, I understand you go to high school, there are kids in your high school and they're in lots of different stakes and wards. Well, here we shouldn't have any high schools where the kids are in different stakes.
Yeah.
That makes no sense at all.
Yeah. Or a very rare exception.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, people in the rumor mill and all that stuff, they are not having it. Apparently, 20 years ago, they changed the boundaries and split some like longtime wards apart. And there are several people who have said, not inspired, I'm not going back. And so they're fearful for that, for those long-timing folk. But it's just got to come.
To be honest, I've had a reaction very similar to that I've had to get over.
Yeah. Because guess what?
A member of the Quorum of the 70 asked us to do something, and we did it. I'm still not understanding why we did it. I don't see any redeeming value in why we did it, and they're kind of now undoing it.
Yep.
But there must have been a reason, even if it was just to teach me that I needed to be humble and follow my leader.
Yeah, or maybe they just
wrong.
didn't know, or they were just wrong, right? Like, we attribute so much to that stuff.
Yes,
like,
I'm all about that. They could have totally been wrong. I get it.
That's the hardest thing about that stuff to me, like the exclusion process. In 2015 with children of...
Oh, well, that... Yeah.
And then that comes back, right? And you're like, I have a very strong emotional reaction to this. This doesn't feel right. In fact, it feels very wrong. I'm not sure why we're doing this. And it's supposed to mean something about me, and I need to be humble and all this stuff. And then to have it go back and just be like, yeah, it's done. Like, I'm like, you were wrong. It was the wrong thing. You did the wrong thing. A mistake.
Well, and it's very similar to lots of other bigger things that we've gone through just over the span of 150, 200 years rather than the span of 3 years.
Yep.
Whether it's blacks in the priesthood or polygamy or whatever the controversial topic of the day is. Yes, there was a lot that was done wrong. End of story. Get over it.
Yeah, hard to do.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see. It's to you now.
Yeah, so the next one is another, again, story focused on the sisters in the church. There's a new book out called Eternally Relevant, a book that is publishing 52 of the some 1,300 different discourses of Eliza Snow. It makes me wonder, with all these 1,300 discourses, could they pull those all together in some kind of online version of the book so that one could go and read those?
Yes, that already exists.
Oh, does it?
Okay. I'm 99% sure. It's essentially, if it's not done, the church is working on it. It's like the Joseph Smith Papers Project, but it's the discourses of Eliza R. Snow.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. I love the fact that they've now published a book, but giving access to all those others would be really interesting. What I loved about the book that's published, there's 52 discourses in there, and I agree with Sister Yee, based on the topics that I've read, Sister Yi, from the second counselor in the General Relief Society presidency, is emphasizing the relevance of Sister Snow's words for members today. It seems that the themes and the challenges and the issues and the exhortations are very relevant to the same things we're dealing with today. And I think that's great to have now the words of one of the founding sisters of the church to help us in our lives as well.
We won't do it, but how impactful would it be if they're after Old Testament next year, they're like, you know what? Taking a year off. There's 52, study one a week. We're going to study the discourses of Eliza Snow. That's not the plan, but how impactful would that be?
But wouldn't that be cool if they created a curriculum where once a month we talk about one of the discourses from one of the sisters throughout the history of the church?
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's go through the Relief Society presidents, the General Relief Society presidents of the church, and pick one out at a time and go through those. That
You
would
mean
be
like
really
a
cool.
Hear Her episode of the Cultural Hall?
Almost like that, exactly.
Like an Under the Bonnet of Heaven. I know we've slept on that. She's been busy. Jenny Reed are part of this whole project. As far as I could tell,
looking forward to it.
as far as I could tell online, you can only get the 52 that are available in the book.
That's what I kind of figured.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I bet some of them are like Eliza Snow, and maybe we need a little more context before we can go to that
I'm sure there's some of those, but those will be the really fun and interesting ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we got some new hymns, 12 new hymns. I'm going to be speaking with one of the gentlemen who wrote one of the new hymns. These are particularly connected to Old Testament themes, though Christian themes. They're just happen to be added to the new hymn book that is not actually a hymn book yet. The church songs for him and family and her and the tabernacle
So
choir at
are
Temple
you
Square.
sensing the same challenge I am? So somebody went and bound up the hymns that had all been published previously.
Sure.
And those are sitting in one of those spiral bound
Sure.
notebooks, in the back of our pews.
Sure.
But each one of these new batches, then they've got to take that all apart. They've got to recompile it and put a new spiral bounding around it. And they're saying they're not going to publish the full book, right?
Until it's out. Until they're all out.
Until it's all out. But I'm going to guess that this is going to keep going on for a decade.
Yeah, I think it's about every
and so
6
aren't
months,
we just going to
right?
at some point go to full digital?
No. Nope. As an employee of the church who we had meetings because we've had meetings and we do meetings and there's no point to those meetings, we will always have printed materials.
But it's always now going to be out of date unless they're saying, okay, this is everything we're publishing and no more for 10 years.
Yep.
Then it's worth actually printing something. But if you're going to keep adding to it, stop with the printing.
Nope.
You're killing trees.
One of the big notes of the new hymn drops is hymn number 1054, When I Am Baptized. This is the one, it was a primary hymn, but now added to the book. I like to look for rainbows whenever there is rain. It's one of the, I want my life to be as clean as earth right after rain. It's my favorite, actually, to hear the kids sing, especially when you go to a kid that's turning 8 and all the other kids and friends are there singing. Beautiful. Nothing better than that.
Yeah, that's great.
By
the way, just an adjacent topic. I got to attend a baptism on Saturday.
Okay.
We had a woman who was baptized, and she happened to be from Haiti.
Okay.
And she asked if I would do the confirmation in Haitian Creole.
Incredible. Were you
And
able
what
to
was
do
awesome was we kept it between her and me and the elders that I was going to do it in Creole.
Okay.
Because everything else that we do with kind of these refugees and immigrants is in French.
Oh, interesting.
And so the whole thing was in French. It was conducted in French, all of this stuff. And then I went up to do the confirmation, and I switched into her home native language, Creole.
Wow.
And kind of blew a bunch of people's minds. It was kind of fun to do.
What does that even sound like? Can you give me a little?
Qui j'en li sonde kan lot many toute l'autre langue gen bagay que wap comprend, gen bagay ou pap comprend. C'est un peu de français, c'est un peu de Afrique, grammaire là, tout le monde Afrique.
Yeah. Nope. Nothing. But
So, yeah,
cool.
it's a mixture of other languages. It's mostly French vocabulary, but the grammar is completely African. So it's French speakers think they understand what's going on and really don't.
Can I tell you something that I think is interesting? When you first messaged me many years ago, and you're like, "Let's go to breakfast," I thought, "What a weirdo." If I'm being honest, because you were one of the first ones that were like, "Let's meet offline for this whole thing." And I'm sort of used to that from like radio stuff, but I was like, yeah, you know what? This is a community. He took the time to reach out and all that. And then we went to breakfast, and I was like, that was fun.
Yeah.
You don't live here, so I was like, that was a time we went and did that. That's fine.
Yeah, it was low risk for me stalking you because I don't live near you.
Yeah, right? So if I blew you off and didn't say anything, it's like, nah, no big deal. You are such an impressive person in the way that you have like become a part of my life that and an integritous person in and of yourself, that it shines through in the things that you are and the things that you do. It is significant to me, and I just feel I feel that moment to tell you thank you for that.
Well,
and
thank
I'm
you for
sorry.
saying that.
I'm sorry that from at the very beginning I was like, "Who's this weirdo? Why do I want to go to breakfast?" But my life
You're
is
not
better.
the only one that's had that response.
Yeah.
So it doesn't faze me at all. But thank you for sharing that. And I have very close to the heart feelings about the cultural hall because of a certain time in my life where it really helped me.
Well, good.
And changed the way I was thinking about the world and kept me positive when I could have gone down a really bad road. So,
Oh, well, good.
yeah.
All right. Now what do we do? We just were two guys sharing emotions. Now what do we do? Now what do we?
That's right.
Let's make it light. Let's go to Smooch, Marry, Kill.
Sounds good. Smooch, marry, kill. So for this Smooch, marry, kill, in honor of Elder Gilbert, what was his job before being called as a member of the quorum?
He was the head of BYU Pathway.
Well, he was the head of CES, right? For all BYU
I guess
education,
that
right?
too.
So
Yeah.
all church education. So the smooch, marry, and kill is let's think about church educational institutions and which ones we would smooch,
Okay.
which ones we would marry,
Okay.
and which ones we would kill.
Okay.
There's lots of options here. I'm going to pick three that I'm somewhat familiar with. So
Okay.
I'll start with early morning seminary.
Okay.
Okay. Second one, let's go with institute in general.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And third one, let's go with Ensign College.
Okay. So early morning seminary, institute, and Ensign College. Okay, so I think I'm killing early morning seminary because I live in Utah. So what even is this thing that you're talking
in the
about?
bubble.
Yeah, what is
you're
this
in
thing?
the blessed bubble.
If I lived and allow me to be inflammatory, if I lived in the mission field and someone asked me to wake up early to do this every single day of the week and there wasn't money associated with it, I'd say
6:15 every single morning.
I'd say I appreciate the offer, hard pass. Sorry, rising generation. We can do it at night at 4. This can be extracurricular 7:30 seminary, but I'm not doing that. So I would kill that. So then I have to smooch. So I think with my life, people don't know this. I actually took a class at Ensign College. Yeah, I have almost attended a class at every university or even
In the state
higher
of
institution of learning in the state of Utah. I really liked it, but it was just one class, so I would say I would smooch Ensign College. Which
now,
would
did
mean,
you go to Utah Tech or Dixie?
So I took a class at the time it would have been Dixie.
Good.
Yep.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Which that means by default I would probably marry Institute. And I guess the way I would say that I've married Institute is that I am 1 credit away from graduating from Institute. And the only reason that I did not graduate from Institute really was twofold. One, you have to be a member of the church, and it was excommunicated at the time.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yes.
You were going to use the old excommunicated excuse.
Yeah.
I see.
And I didn't get credit for the final class because I was excommunicated. So I have one more class, and I could graduate. And I
Sorry,
have thought about that.
That is no laughing matter, but I'm laughing.
No, but I have thought about it multiple times to go back and do that
What a great
last
idea.
class. I think I will. Yeah. They have them
what a
online
great
now.
idea.
They weren't nearly as prevalent online before. So
They do. Yeah.
All right, smooch, marry, kill.
For me. I'm going to marry early morning seminary.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Number one, because I went to 4 solid years of early morning seminary. And yes, there were plenty of boring mornings where I slept through most of it.
Sure.
Sorry, Sister Stewart, if you're listening, but you know I was sleeping through it, and you were so kind to deal with me sleeping through it. I had her for 2 years in a row. She was so kind. But the other big reason is I came to graduate school. Between the course load and family load, I honestly, the only time I had available was between midnight and 7 a.m. Mm-hmm. And guess what they called me to do? Teach seminary at 6 a.m.
Nope.
every single morning. And so I taught seminary for 2 years of graduate school. And it was phenomenal.
Okay, good.
It was phenomenal because I needed the spiritual boost every day. It helped me. It was phenomenal because my grades actually improved when I started teaching seminary.
Interesting.
And then third phenomenal is I made some friends with some of those youth at the time that are now adult friends that I do things with and that I get along with. And
cool.
One of them is a member of our current stake presidency. And I love when he comes to my elders quorum meetings and I get to talk about how he was as a young man. So, yeah, there's all kinds of
You don't have to
blessings.
do what he says. You wouldn't believe this story from early morning seminary
You don't
when
know
I was
how
at
many times
graduate
I threw
school.
his shoes out the back window. And so that's my Mary. My smooch is probably Institute.
Okay.
Because I've spent some time at Institute and love the Institute program, and some of the Institute directors. Our current Institute director here is great too. Mm-hmm. And then I would kill it because I've really had no connection to it all. Is Ensign College.
Yeah.
I don't have any family members that have graduated from it. There's probably some that have taken courses there, but I really don't understand where it fits in the whole church educational scheme.
Well, I mean, I know, just to give a little context for that, like most returned missionaries, you get a scholarship. You can go to Ensign College for free. And so especially for if you can,
that's a great thing.
If you can get your butt to Salt Lake and afford to pay for yourself to live, getting the school for free or mostly free.
I did not understand that.
Yeah, especially for students from other countries, it is a great in Utah experience.
So it's an in Utah pathway experience, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a step above, but not quite BYU. It's also great for like the people who need that in person. If you're the mom, kids are gone, and you're like, oh man, I'm too scared to go to Salt Lake Community College or too scared to go to BYU. You can go kind of this elevated high school, not quite full university experience, and it's affordable and it's geared towards making you ready for a particular job as opposed to it's higher education. What does that mean? I don't know, but it's higher than what you did, which we do in a lot of university settings.
Well, I've learned something. Thank you. Your mansplaining was worth it this time.
The more you know.
Bring.
We have not done very many stories, so we're going to try and take this last little bit and get through as many stories as possible. So you take the stories that you would like, and I'll take the ones that I would like.
I need to talk about Korea and the kind of public service that they're doing in Korea. It's fantastic. So
the picture is scary, though. Did you see the picture associated with
The picture's
this?
Awesome.
Yeah, looks like they're cutting somebody up. That's what I thought. I was like, wait, what is happening right now?
It does. So we've all gotten together to do service projects. And, we've done the service projects where you build meal kits. We've done service projects where you build yarn wigs for cancer patients. We've done service projects where you do landscaping, whatever it is. The several stakes in Korea over the last 6 months have done service projects to help feed those who don't have enough food. What have they done? They get together and they make kimchi, and then they distribute it to those who have not enough food. And for those of you that know kimchi, it's fermented cabbage and typically very spicy.
Yes.
And it's one of those things that us North Americans don't necessarily jump to very quickly. And I just loved the image of them shredding cabbage and pickling and spices and making this very culturally relevant food to share with their neighbors.
Yeah.
And then I love the fact that they not only had members of the church, but non-members joined in helping with these projects. And I started to think if we were going to do a similar project, If, of course, if they were doing it in Utah Valley, it would be Jello instead of kimchi. The question is, as Americans, generally, what would we do if we were going to do a similar kimchi project? What do you think the corollary would be for us?
What would I think? What would we make? There's so many jokes is what come to my mind.
Funeral potatoes.
Yeah, funeral
right?
potatoes, some of those low dangling fruits, but then I think like we would have a pre-diabetes kind of session because that's everyone in America, we got a little bit extra.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of those things.
So,
Utah,
so maybe barbecue fits in that category.
Yeah, a swig or a sugary cookie
my
kind of thing.
gosh. Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
that's what it
the
is.
crumble cookie thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I just thought that was wonderful. Culturally relevant, culturally specific, feeding their neighbors, and this image of everyone making kimchi, and it's a messy process, and I loved the picture.
Yeah, pictures are worth it. An Orem meeting house closes over break-in worries. Turns out it was a fire sprinkler instead. The sprinklers went off. There is apparently no break-in, no vandalism, but instead just wet spots from a malfunctioning fire sprinkler. A church member said that congregants arrived for services and found that the chapel was coated with the substance in question and immediately contacted emergency responders. So, and unless I am reading this incorrectly, the substance in question was water.
Well, it had to have something in the water to leave some kind of white residue behind.
Yeah, you know what it is? And this is the gross thing. Probably, like when you get something that is really, really dirty, wet, and then it dries, all of the sweat and all of the dirt that's in the thing comes up. And that's
that.
I am betting, though I don't know, and if anyone knows any more about this Orem meeting house, I'm betting that's what the substance was.
You're saying over a period of 50 years, just vacuuming the pews once a month or so really
is not cutting
doesn't
it.
really do the
not
job.
cutting it. And now we've got it gets wet, gets soaked, drenched from a malfunctioning sprinkler, and all the oils and all the sweat and all the flakes and all the this, and you're just like, "Gah,
I'm sure that's the case with the couch in the foyer. I know that's the case there.
yeah, those need to be replaced on a cycle. Otherwise,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Well,
other?
the next one I loved is we had this tragedy in Michigan months ago, right? Where just unbelievably bad. Someone crashed into the building and shot people, and people died and were injured. And what I love is the community actually has come together recently, and the local men's hockey team, I think this is probably a semi-professional team, held an event, and all of the admission, all of the money they made on tickets for people coming went to those in need based on that tragic event. It was a sellout crowd, and evidently it's not the first time that this team has done this based on needs in the community. So I think that's fantastic. This is above and beyond just members of the church. It's the community rallying together to support others.
Yeah, I hope, and I think that they probably are. But again, if there are members of the church out there that are listening, if there are independent filmmakers that are doing it, I would watch the heck out of
Yes.
something that follows how that particular community recovers from all this. And I think it would be something that could apply for more than just members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It would be something inspirational for America to be able to see, hey, this is what happened. This is how the community at large came together. This is how the church community came together, just to be able to find their way through that horrible tragedy. And then this being one of the great things that's come from it.
Yep.
So what? That makes me have the last story? Is that what we're saying?
You want the last one? Well, depending on what you pick, I might have one more to add to it.
Well, you pick. I don't feel particularly strong about any of them. Go ahead.
Let's talk about legislatures in Utah and bills that have been submitted to the legislature.
What?
So I first saw this on Facebook, I guess a week ago, maybe. And I saw actually a video clip of this legislator standing and reading in what he thought a bill should be to be passed in Utah, and he was basically quoting the word of wisdom, and had suggested they pass a bill that made that law in the state of Utah. Now, I quickly did some research and figured out that he was doing this totally tongue-in-cheek. But it's not obvious from any of the articles or the video that was the case, and people have gone bonkers.
Well, as they should, because here's the thing. When satire or parody is so close to how it feels most of the time,
Well,
you
yeah,
don't
when
have the
people think it
ability to
actually
go,
could
yeah,
happen.
of course they would do that. Of course they would. Of course he's reading the word of wisdom into law. Like that in the state of Utah, depending on where you're listening, you may be like, I can't even fathom that world. That is not too far removed to the kind of crap that happens when we make laws
And
here
he
in
did
Utah.
it with an incredible straight face. He's standing up there and saying, the vast majority of people in our constituency already abide by this law and rule.
Yep.
Why don't we just codify it as part of the state's law?
Yeah, just.
And people just took him so seriously. And some people loved the idea,
Yeah.
which bothers me almost more than the people that hated the idea.
Yes. Those people, they're like, that's not bad. That's not bad. Maybe we should put something like that into place.
The libertarian in me just goes crazy about stuff like that.
Yeah. So luckily we're done with the legislature for a year here in Utah. So there's that. we can't get infuriated any of that stuff for a while. That puts us at the end of the episode. Verlin, I hope that this episode has nourished and strengthened your body.
And that if you weren't healthy enough this week, you'll be healthy enough next week.
And that when the time comes, you'll be able to travel home in safety. In the meantime,
Go Tar Heels.
Chocolate Cake Bites Podcast.
Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel.
We say goodbye to Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel. They have recently left us. If you would like to become a Patreon saint, listen.
Chris
will be
Come
back.
on, Chris.
Chris will be back. They'll be
Okay.
back. If you would like to be one of the namesakes at the end of the episode, you can go to that patreon.com/The Cultural Hall, become a celestial level sponsor, and we'll say your name or whatever you'd like us to at the end of these episodes. Debbie Wanless, the Tiger. Go ahead.
Tiger with a U.
And Latter Day 3D Studio. There we go. We got it between the two of us.
Got him.
We'll be saving a seat for you.
On the back row
Of
the
Cultural Hall.
Save me a seat, it's sure to be neat on the back row. We really gotta go on the Culture Hall show.